What's going on YouTube? Welcome to another video here. You're joining me here for a back workout, starting with some bent over barbell rows. Using these as like my main compound for the back. I like to usually start off my workouts with some sort of main compound focus, if it's a leg day squat or a deadlift, upper body, OHP, or bench. And then obviously you can adjust the priority if you want to, chase the bench goal or whatever. You do the bench first and then the other. But I'm using these more as like a bodybuilding movement. There will be some changes coming forward with a program that I'm conceptualizing right now though, and I'll kind of like let you know how that looks. But that's how I've always done it. I've always done, hierarchy style training where the most intensive exercise goes first and then you kind of taper down, break into different muscle groups, stuff like that. So not everyone trains that way. Some people just like to do heavy compounds and kind of go from there. I like to do it all. I like diversity of movements. I like doing a lot of movements, and just feels like a good workout to me. So I've been using these a lot, like I mentioned in previous videos, to stay healthy with the arm and slowly reintroduce, barbell loaded stimulus to that arm, so that when I go back to deadlifting heavy, I'll be in a position where that muscle's been trained, obviously, and trained in a position where it is being, utilized. So lats are always something that will involve the bicep. There's really nothing you can do. So you just really have to find a way to balance that out with that lift. Same thing with here with like the T-bar row. There's no way around it. So just play it safe. Work your way back up to the lifts you were doing before. Slowly add weight over time. Sometimes it's nice because you're guaranteed progress in your workout. If you're doing weights that you've blown past before, you know that if you're programming and adding stuff in over time, you're going to do something new until you hit that roadblock. And sometimes, honestly, when you take that break away from training, it's a good time for recovery. And you may actually blow past some sticking points you had before because of that recovery had time to kind of catch up. So, like I mentioned before, like the lat pull down and stuff here, some tension and some slight, motor issues when it came to the left side. Like there is still some inconsistency with contractions overhead with the lats. So I'm really working on that, but that involves that shoulder joint, which the bicep's attached to, so it makes sense. But, we've got to do movements that will stimulate growth, work through those range of motions, and, just pick the ones you like and just do them. You can always change them out. So I like doing rows, I like doing pull downs, and then just progressively making them a little bit more difficult so we can stimulate some growth, and then kind of going from there. You can rinse and repeat for any lift, anything that you do, and then just realize what kind of works for you. Of course, doing some form of bicep stimulation, in this case the cable curl, using the easy bar or the cable easy bar attachment, easier on the wrist, and just makes it easier, at least for me, to get a contraction. You can kind of sit your grip into the groove and then get that nice peak contraction. So something I've always done, I've just always had uncomfortable wrists. Whenever I would do any sort of curling movement, it was just super uncomfortable. So I don't know. It always just depends on, like what your goals are, what you're looking to do. I've always found curling a lot more, it connects better with me when I'm in this hammer curl position. And I've always felt stronger here. So that's just something with me though. So I don't know. Everyone's a little bit different. Some people can curl crazy amounts of weight and I'll never understand it. Secondary leg day here. Doing the Hatfield squat. And this is some sort of variation that I was looking to do. I was just getting sick and tired of doing the same SSB. So a little bit more of an overload, and then you can kind of do controlled. This is more for like technique and balance and stuff. So I like these leggings because they have the lines. You can kind of see where my hips are when I descend into the hole, which is pretty funny. So you can see though, like it cuts across the mid hamstring. So like my hamstring is like way below the knee and touching the calf. So it just depends on the thickness of your muscle bellies and stuff like that. So just always funny to see, at least on my end here. I'm going to, I don't know, I've been considering removing this. Sometimes overloading with the Hatfield squat, it's just the stimulus on the spine and the lower body will bleed into my first leg day with the SSB and traditional SSB style. So I don't know, I'm trying to play around with stuff and figure out what works for me. it's not always, you know, the best. So you really just have to figure out where your goals want to go. With a lot of the training and stuff that you do, you just have to figure out what's the long-term thing. And for me, it's always been to push weight in a healthy manner where you can consistently add, you know, challenging stuff to it to get better at it. Squats will always be a struggle for me, so that will always be my priority, to really push them in a way that, one, keeps me mentally engaged, makes me want to do them, and then makes me, you know, want to program them. If I was a good squatter, I would love squatting. It would be fun, but I'm just like straight up not built for it in any sort of way. So it's a nightmare every time I do it. I feel like I can move a lot of weight. Like, to me, deadlifting just feels like my happy lift. It just feels like the best movement that I can do. It's naturally dialed in. Squats, there's just so much deviation, so many factors, especially with the amount of weight used. So it's really fun to, you know, be able to embrace all that and really kind of go from there. So this has been an interesting movement to program, but I've got some plans in the future for other things I want to do. And that's the beautiful thing about training, is you can do basically whatever you want to do as long as there's a method to do it. And I just like embarking on a new journey where we're basically going to be able to get better at a movement. It's fun to see. It's fun to see your progress. And, you know, it reinvigorates the mind. So sumo deadlift here, slowly but surely, you know, not anywhere near as fast, but just slowly taking my time to ease myself back into deadlifts. That was always my biggest concern. My favorite lift, and then just to get the balance back and to get the conditioning back where I could break weight off the floor. You know, just really using these Versa grips to make sure that I'm dialed in, at least in the lats, and then kind of going from there. So if I'm deadlifting, I'm happy. If I'm not deadlifting, I'm not very happy. So for the last few months, I couldn't do it. And the recovery was great because deadlifts take a lot out of you, but also it's just not, you're not as fun. It's not fun to lift when you're not deadlifting, basically, if you enjoy deadlifting. So I don't know. But belt squat again here, and doing pauses on these just to get some stimulation. And, you know, I don't know, it is what it is with the whole squatting thing. I was getting some issues. I have a previous injury from wrestling when it comes to my right hamstring and quad. So like sometimes it can flare up and be really annoying. So I don't really like that. Doesn't seem to affect me on deadlifting, but anytime I'm loading the posterior chain is when I'm noticing it. So I like training legs. It's intense, it's fun, but sometimes there's some mechanical issues and stuff that I don't really enjoy. I wish they were a lot more efficient, but they're not. So, you know, it is what it is. Single leg press here just for more stimulus in the lower body. And like I said, I don't like this leg press. It doesn't feel good to do both legs. It really rolls up on your lower back and it puts you in a really uncomfortable position. Terrible design, not good. I'm not sure why anybody would buy this or make this, you know, leg press a thing, but is what it is. You got to use what you got. So like I said before, change is coming in the gym that I'm excited for. I think you guys will be excited for more things I can do. So stay tuned, keep watching. I want to document this whole process. I'm so far behind on videos, but I want you to see the whole progress of like getting to where I need to be and how I ended up in here, because a lot of it is just making decisions based off of changes and stuff in your life and kind of going from there. So, you know, when you're training consistently and you want to start making content, it's more invigorating to be around more people, like-minded people, and then also be able to do the movements you want to do. So it's been an experience, like being somebody who's been utilized in the gym for so many years. You've seen so many different phases and changes come, and a lot of the consistent stuff I've stayed the same, honestly. But it's fun to see all the different fads and stuff kind of come through and people that engage in them. So keep watching. Things will get more interesting, I promise. Some change of scenery is coming up. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.
Thanks for watching the latest video. If you want to help support the channel, I actually own my own wet shaving and grooming e-commerce website where everything's handmade by me. It's www.apexsoaps.com, and you can get a 10% off code using wet shaver. We've got some cool scents here. We've got some Coca-Cola scents, a horchata scent, traditional barbershop, just some really cool stuff. And you can purchase samples or you can buy the whole set. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out via email. Be quick to respond. Thanks for watching.